welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and in today's video, we've got a brand spanking new Ninja H2 SX. So I'm a little late on getting the video started, but this is a all brand new Ninja H2 that a local customer has brought us to do some modifications to. We are going to be putting a Brock's Performance full exhaust system, and we are going to be flashing the ECU on this thing, getting rid of all the restrictions. Now, this bike is a supercharged Kawasaki that has a straight up and down riding position. So you see the handlebars here are raised up. This thing actually sits super comfortable and is a very unique motorcycle. So you're definitely not going to see many of these on the road. They are a specialty bike, but the main thing is it is supercharged. Crazy restricted supercharged bike from the factory. So you can see the factory headers and stuff here, and for the most part they look terrible. Very small, very restricted, and definitely not ideal for performance. So this Brock's Performance exhaust system we're going to put on there is definitely going to bring that to life. We're going to get rid of that catalytic converter. We're going to save a lot of weight on the bike, and then we're going to be removing the ECU, which is right up in here. But we're going to remove that ECU, and we are going to flash the ECU and get all the horses out of this thing. Now, unfortunately, I kind of forgot, and we didn't get to do a complete before and after to see what it makes with the stock exhaust system. I'm sure you guys can do some YouTube searching and find plenty other ones that are bone stock that are, have been dynoed to see what they make. But we are going to get to see what it makes after we put the exhaust system on, and then we're going to flash the ECU. So the ECU on this bike has crazy restrictions. I opened up the file just a few minutes ago, downloaded it, took a look at it. In first gear, the electronic throttle valve cuts all the way back to 13% throttle. It's kind of like a joke. I don't even know why you would make a motorcycle and only make it go 13% throttle at wide open. But anyways, we're gonna fix that. Hopefully we don't throw the owner off, and we're gonna have ourselves a super cool horsepower monster. All right, guys, if you like what you see so far, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up at the end once you've enjoyed watching it. All right, guys, here we go. So we got the H2 SX exhaust on. We got it all fired up, warmed up, and ready to make some initial dyno pulls. Now, we have not removed the factory ECU to flash it yet, but we do have everything installed, and I want to let you listen to this thing. Check out the green carbon fiber tip on this Brock's Performance Penta carbon exhaust. This thing sounds super good as well. For those of you who don't have an H2 SX or have never seen one, this is a super cool bike. This thing has adjustable electronic suspension. You can adjust right here on the dash or on the handlebar controls. It also has cruise control, heated grips. This thing is super nice. This is my first time getting to play with one. I had seen them in magazines and on internet reviews, but I haven't really seen many people modify them or do much with them. So that's what we're here for today, is to play with this thing and see what it's got. Now you can see we got check engine lights and lights on the dash flashing and blinking everywhere. That's because we have removed the factory exhaust valve. We have removed the factory O2 sensor, all kind of stuff that we do not need anymore, and we will turn all that off in the ECU flash. So we will not be needing that, and of course we will not have any check engine lights when we're finished. But let's fire this thing up and see what you think about it. first pull untouched. It does have the factory exhaust system, and I do apologize about not getting a dyno run with the factory exhaust. We literally forgot until Mike already had the exhaust system tore halfway apart. So anyways, we're gonna see what it makes just as it is. I'm gonna say, so like a stock H2 makes around upper 190s. I'm gonna say this thing only makes in the 180s first pull. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this thing does on the baseline pull. I'm not gonna be sitting on the bike this time. The way I've got the bike strapped down, it's right, the straps run right by the foot pegs. There's no room for my feet. So you saw the first dyno pull on the H2 SX, 168 horsepower. That's pretty lame. Supercharged, supercharged with what? So anyways, we're gonna make something out of this thing. The ECU in this bike, I just got it out after about an hour and a half worth of work. So me and Magic Mike had to take off the whole entire front end. We still can't remove the front end because the relay boxes are there. And then the ECU is mounted inside this cage with all these screws just holding the ECU up to the front end. And it's definitely nerve-wracking your first time ever messing with one of these things because all these parts crazy expensive. If you have one of these at home, I highly recommend getting the ECU Flashed. I highly recommend a lot of patience or paying someone who knows what they're doing to mess with this thing because it is definitely not a intermediate / novice job just to remove the ECU, much less to do anything else with this bike. So we're about to get the ECU Flashed. I'm going to show you what's going on inside the ECU on this thing right here in just a second. So we got the bin file pulled up here for the H2 SX. We got the ECU out. And I'm gonna show you a little bit about what's going on. If we go to here, electronic throttle valve, and then we're gonna put it in first gear. Electronic throttle valve on full power. Check this out. So here's your throttle percentages here, 98%. Here's the RPMs over here, 13.5. You guys aren't gonna believe this. But in first gear, when you go wide open, so 98% throttle, that's basically wide open throttle, you can see how slow it is to ramp up. So boom, 100, scroll across, that is at, it hits 100 at 9,000 RPMs. That's the only place it hits 100. After that, 13% throttle at 12.5. So this thing completely shuts down. It goes all the way back right before that, all the way to 61% throttle at 11,000 RPMs. So this thing heavily, heavily restricted. Even in fifth gear, where we dynoed it at, it shut down all the way to 35% throttle. So if you have a Ninja H2 SX or a Ninja H2, they're theoretically the same thing. They're not quite this bad. But even in fifth gear, when you go wide open with that electronic throttle valve, you never go wide open. It only gives you 100% throttle until 9,000 RPMs, and it just blinks that for a second. So right before that, we're at 95. Right after that, we're at 85. So they don't give you any power anytime, really. And then if we go to ignition map and put the thing full power, and of course I never share ignition timing numbers with you guys, but right now I'm telling you right now they're crazy, crazy low. Lots of horsepower I think is gonna be in this thing. Let me do my magic here and see what we can come up with. All right guys, here we go. First pull on the Flashed ECU. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think this thing's gonna make? I don't really know what to expect myself, so let's see what happens. Get this video from the back side of the bike. That way you can get a better idea of how this box exhaust sounds at higher RPMs in case you're in the market for an exhaust system for an H2SX. I think this is really a good one to consider. Should be the last pull on the H2SX. I've been very, very impressed with the performance of this thing, from the comfort, and I think we got crazy good reliability. We're still super, super conservative on the tune. I could get more horsepower by increasing the ignition time and leaning it out even more, but for what this bike was designed for, I don't really think that's a good option, nor do I think that's exactly what the owner of this bike is looking for. I think he wants a fast, fun bike that's cool to ride, makes lots of horsepower, and he just wants to ride. He don't want to race everything. If he would, he would have got an H2. But if you have one of these, you want to race, you want to kill everybody, I can increase the horsepower even more by extending the rev limiter even higher, putting more ignition time in, and leaning it out just a smidge. This is a good, everyday, super reliable tune that is still incredibly fast.
made the last pull on the H2SX. Crazy big horsepower numbers, crazy big gains. We ended up with 227 horsepower. We are still a little rich on the air-fuel ratio. We still have more ignition timing to go based on what a normal H2 has. But I don't feel like it's for what this customer is after. That's not what we need in this tune. So you can see right here, we went from 164 horsepower to 205. Once we extend the factory rev limiter, that's where this thing really loves it. We peaked out with 227 horsepower. Let's look at our torque. 99 foot-pounds of torque. So that's big numbers as well on the torque, and really nice and flat torque curve. So huge gains out of this H2SX. You can see the trend for the horsepower. It does not go up and go down. So if we kept going farther, basically extending the rev limiter a little farther out, the horsepower would keep, excuse me guys, the horsepower would keep going up. So if you have one of these, you want a flash, let me know. Hit us up, moremafia.com. Contact us through email there. We can provide you with a flash for this thing to get you the horsepower you paid for to start with. And if you really want to push it, all you got to do is let me know. It'll cost a few more bucks for the Stage 2 flash, and we can increase the horsepower even further. But keep in mind, we do recommend going with different valve springs or something like that. These things do not have quite the valve train that the Kawasaki H2 has. So for what we got right here, we have something that's super fast, safe, and reliable. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Keep in mind, 70% of our views come from non-subscribed viewers. I need you to subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. Click the bell for further notifications so you don't miss one of our videos. Give us a good old thumbs up and check us out. I don't have a More Mafia. Penske Racing, check them out too. They're good sponsors of mine. MoreMafia.com. You got hats, shirts, stickers, and ECU Flash. Horsepower in a box. All right, guys, that's it. Have a good one. See you.